Good morning, guys. So I'm making a little second bonus video for the week because I've gone a bit down the rabbit hole. My last video, I decided to check out different types of paint. It was SoFlat, Flash paint, and acrylic gouache, and I was comparing them to see which one was the most matte and which one would layer pencils and other media better on top of it for mixed media art. I'm sorry about all the paint because I was going a little crazy last night, as you can see. Now I have all this. So, because I'm doing more experiments. And the reason for that is I added this Fluid Artist Acrylics from Utrecht, which Dick Blick sells. And they're supposed to be matte. And I remembered I had a couple. I just have like 4 bottles because I got them when they were selling some of them on sale or clearancing out certain colors, but they still sell them, but it's only like 20 colors or something. And they're not cheap, but at least they come in these tiny 1-ounce containers. So they are cheaper than some of the other options just because they do make such tiny containers. So I decided to add them to the experiments. And then I also remembered people add things like matte medium, clear gesso, and regular gesso to paint, and then that dulls them down and makes them better for layering. And then while I was at it, I decided to add more things like Poscas, and then just compare them and see what happens. So the last video actually did not get a lot of views, and you know what? That's okay because this information is not something that's universally interesting to people, but I feel like it is important and interesting information to share online for people who are going to be looking for this information, you know, for years to come, for people who are specifically interested in mixed media and layering and finding matte paint that's good for layering. So this was information that would be useful to me, and I figured it might be useful to some other people, so I thought I would go ahead and share it, even though, you know, it's not for everyone. So if this is not something you're interested in, you know, just tune into my next video, which I'm finally going to share the project I've been working on and set up my wet wash palette. So anyways, I decided to use blue paint because, like I said, I only had a couple of these colors, and one of them was this cobalt blue hue. The other really good thing about these acrylics is that they use really high quality sort of like pigments, or I guess they use like single pigments a lot. They don't do a whole lot of mixes, and they use like good, like this is PB60, and they specify how permanent or light fast the colors are. So they're definitely professional level, and they're very soft. Okay, so I have a huge box of all the stuff I want to try on all of these. So it's gonna be a lengthy video, and since it's my bonus video and I don't really have time for it, there's not going to be a whole lot of editing. You're just going to get what you're going to get. So hopefully, you know, like I said, you don't need to watch the whole thing. The paintbrush I used for all of them was this one, Royal and Langnickel, and I did leave it in the water a lot, so it peeled. So they all had the same treatment. Okay, so we're gonna start with sort of the most basic, which is this Holbein pencil. Oh, and I brought different brand pencils too, so I could try them. Oh, I forgot to, hold on one second, guys. I forgot to get my Caran d'Ache because that's actually what I'm going to be using. Oh, and also, I wanted to ask your help because I added a bit to the lighting in the room. So hopefully the lighting is a little bit better. And also I did get a little microphone because I had a couple people mention they had trouble hearing me. So I went ahead and got a microphone. So let me know if the audio quality is better for you guys, especially those who had issues with it in the past. Okay, so we're gonna start with this Holbein, and the reason I'm starting with Holbein is because it should be one of the easiest ones to layer because they're very soft. So that's pretty good. And I'm comparing things to Flash paint, and I'll tell you why in a second. Okay, well, that one just seems to layer well on pretty much everything. So I'm going to say this is SoFlat Flashe, the Utrecht Fluid, Winsor and Newton regular gouache. This is Golden Fluid, which is a regular acrylic, but it's fluid. This is Posca. This is Holbein acrylic gouache. This is Amsterdam Professional acrylics. Here's where it gets interesting. Well, this is acrylic ink. This is Liquitex Heavy Body. And it's definitely, you can see the gloss, and you can see the gloss on this one. So these two are definitely have gloss. And this is Liquitex Basics, also has gloss. Okay, let's see what happens with the matte medium. Oh, clear gesso is, this is Liquitex Basics with matte medium, with clear gesso, and with regular gesso. This is the acrylic ink, and this is Liquitex Heavy Body. Now, I did see some people say it's basically like sandpaper, and I can see what they're talking about. It does, I can see it, it's, you know, it would sharpen your pencil, as people mentioned. Okay, let's try the Caran d'Ache, because those are the ones that I'm the most concerned about, because that's what I'm going to use for my finished works. Let me see. Let's go with this pinky color. I think that one would be good. Okay. And what I can see so far already is that this pencil had trouble on Amsterdam Professional acrylic, which is glossy, and it also had trouble on Holbein acrylic gouache. So once again, showing, as in my last video, that acrylic gouache basically acts the same as regular acrylic, which you wouldn't expect because it's gouache and matte, but it does not do well with colored pencils on top. So I eliminated that from my options. That's why it's not one of the main 3 options for what I would use with the finished pieces. Okay. Do you guys see that these two, this is coming out just as good as this and better than SoFlat? And then the gouache also is always good. Let's see. Matte medium. Oh, wow. Yeah, that one is really, really rough. It's basically like late textured sandpaper. So it's kind of like use at your own risk, because it will sharpen your pencils for you and wear them down very quickly. Okay, this is the only polychromos I have, but I wanted to bring it in because I know they're firmer, so they might not layer as well as other pencils. And again, I'm comparing everything to Flashe because that was the winner in the last round. Yeah, that acted just as well as that and better than the SoFlat. Wow, these matte paints are even better than the regular gouache. Okay, the Golden Fluid didn't do well at all, as expected, as you can see. And again, acrylic gouache did not do well. The Poscas didn't do well. So this is good because a lot of them are not doing well with the polychromos at all. These 3 did great. And again, these 2 were in first place, then this, and then everything else. Okay, Liquitex Basics. Okay, the clear gesso, it's doing well, but again, it's basically like sandpaper. And regular gesso, it's doing well. This is very good news. And so again, it didn't do well here, the Liquitex Heavy Body, as expected. Okay, let's try, what do I have? I have a lot of Prismacolors, and they're also very soft. So they should layer well on most things. Yep, it did well with all those 3. Not so well with the still not as good with the regular gouache. Did horrible here. Did pretty good here, actually, but not as good. You see, it's more like of a red color. It's more of a red color on these 2. Well, on Posca. Again, Prismacolor is known to be a very soft pencil. Did great on these two. So the matte medium, I don't know that the matte medium is adding a whole lot of benefit, to be honest with you. Interesting. Not good here. Yeah, the matte medium's not doing a whole lot for me. Let's try, I think that might be the only one I brought that's, let's try Inktense and see what happens. This is very interesting. Ooh, wow, the Inktense are coming out nice. Geez, I almost feel like it's, no, it did good here too. Yeah, they both did good. Okay, not good here. Okay, here. The Inktense are actually very soft. I should use them more often. I think I will use them more often. I have a 24 set. And all my specialty, like, pencils are all in a separate container, like watercolor and Inktense. So I don't bring them out as much, so I'm gonna have to fix that. Okay, this one is gonna be good because this is the Prismacolor Very Thin. So these are very hard pencils. The whole point of them is that they're very thin, and you can sharpen them to a very fine point that they'll keep. Yeah, see the orange one kind of just look. The Utrecht Fluid did even better than the Flashe with this orange. Oh my God, you guys, I'm so excited about this. Completely disappeared here. Almost disappears here. Oh my God, it did the best on the Utrecht Fluid. Look, it's coming up orange. I hope you guys can see all this on camera. And again, this is not information that's for everyone, but for those who want to do mixed media and layer things, hopefully I'm saving you some time and wasted effort. Okay, again, did about the same with the matte medium as without the matte medium. Now, Liquitex Basics are known to be somewhat matte already. It's somewhat matte paint. But yeah, you can't even see it on the Liquitex Heavy Body. Here's another very thin. Let's start on this page. Not good. Pretty good. Really good. It does really well on the gesso plus white. I mean the white gesso. Even better than the clear gesso, which is actually, it just, yeah, Liquitex Heavy Body, it just does not work for layering whatsoever. Yeah, it does the best on the regular gesso, even though this one is firmer. And actually, I'll be honest with you, the clear gesso might be so firm that I would not even want to use my nice pencils on it because it will sharpen them and go through them very quickly. Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say this one did better than the Flashe, which is absolutely mind-boggling because SoFlat is supposed to be the flattest one, best for layering, but then I tried Flashe and that was even better than SoFlat, and I didn't think anything was better than Flashe. It's a vinyl paint, it's not an acrylic paint, so it's supposed to be the best, but the Utrecht Fluid is performing even better, which is super exciting to me because I was considering investing in all this Flashe paint, which would have been so expensive because I would have had to start from scratch because I wouldn't want to mix it with my acrylics because, like I said, it is a vinyl-based paint. So that would have been so expensive. I would have had to invest all this money in all the basic colors, and I wouldn't have had money to get all the fun colors, and I would have had such a limited palette to work with after spending all that money. And then I have so many acrylics that I wouldn't have even been able to use it with, which would have like really sucked. And I was on the verge of getting it. So I decided not to get it because if I can use the Utrecht Fluid instead with the SoFlat, and they're both acrylic based paint, so you can mix them as much as you want. And I have all this acrylic paint. I have a huge stash of acrylic paint. And if I can mix it with the white gesso or the clear gesso, but especially the white gesso, and make it flat and layerable, then that completely adds to my palette. Like all the colors I have, as long as I mix it with gesso, is usable. And it's all intermixable because they're all acrylics. Flashe is the only one that would not have been intermixable, and it would have been a huge investment, and I'm so glad I went down this rabbit hole and did all this research first, because I discovered a better alternative. Okay, SoFlat, I use this is the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 1, not water soluble. And it's a little bit slicker. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Okay. Neocolors are known to be really good for layering though, guys. So we would expect it. This is Neocolor 2. Neocolor 2. I have 2 of them. So let's see. Neocolor 2. Okay. I mean, it's supposed to be good for layering. Okay. Neocolors are doing good on everything, even the Liquitex heavy body. So that's one of the beauties of Neocolor 2s and 1s, is that they will layer. They're like pastels that will layer on everything, and they're water soluble, so you can mix them with the acrylics and with watercolors and with gouache. You can even use it with, like, you can dilute it and use it with like high flow golden or fluid, like, or acrylic inks, and intermix it and use it to color your acrylic inks, and it basically becomes acrylic paint. And it goes well on everything. That's why I love them. Not so good on the golden fluid. It's not performing well for layering, which is interesting because you would think it would be kind of like a flat, sort of, because it is fluid, but, well, that's why we're doing this experiment. Okay, now I have another pencil that should layer well on everything, and that's this Derwent Drawing. They're very soft. They're almost like Neocolors. Yeah, I mean, it's doing great. The Holbein gouache almost performed better than the regular gouache. I mean, the acrylic gouache almost did better than regular gouache, which is interesting. Yeah, they're layering well on everything as expected. Literally everything. Even that, yeah. So yeah, Derwent Drawings, I love these pencils. And the colors are so nice and muted. Okay, this is a pastel pencil. And I have 2 of them. This is Conte à Paris, and it's pastel. So you would expect it to oh! I guess you're not supposed to press hard. And they're very smudgy. This is why I don't use pastel pencils a ton. Yeah. No, that's good there. I would say that even did. But you know what? This is a much brighter color than this one. So the yellow would stand out more and look better with it. So it might just be, oh my gosh. The pastel pencil did not do well on the golden fluid. Nope. It barely even went on there. I don't know if you can see. Oh, and what I did when I did these swatches is I did it heavier at the top and then kind of spread thin. So right now I'm trying to use the areas at the top that are thicker and that would be harder to cover. Yeah, I think you guys can see. Good, 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 good. Not good. Really terrible, the golden fluid. Okay here. Even better than here, actually. Posca good, and then the Amsterdam Professional Acrylics, which is a softer body than the heavy body, but still a pretty thick acrylic paint. Not good. Okay, and let's get back to... And the reason I'm swatching it on Liquitex Basics too is because it's a control for these 3. This is what it starts as, and then this is what it is when you mix it in. Not good. Yeah, the matte medium is kind of useless. What it did do though, is it really extended the life of the paint. It like, I put a little bit there, and then, I mean, I could have covered the whole page with just a tiny bit of paint. So if you don't have a lot of paint and you want it to go a long way, add the matte medium or any other, like there's a gloss medium, there's ultra matte medium as well. And then with a tiny bit of paint, you can extend its life to cover your entire canvas, basically. Really like the performance of all the stuff with the gesso. And let's see, I think it's doing so well with the Liquitex acrylic ink because it really just soaked into the paper. So now I basically have a paper surface here. And yeah, Liquitex heavy body, terrible performance as expected. I think you guys can see that terrible performance, but pretty good for all the mediums, especially the regular gesso, and pretty good for the clear gesso too. Okay, we're gonna keep going because I have more stuff. I have a pen, just a regular ballpoint pen, and I was curious to see what would happen. The pen is actually going well over all of them. Interesting. I actually thought it would kind of like skid and not do a good job. Oh, yeah, do you guys hear that? It's basically sandpaper. It even went over the, okay, never mind. I guess pen goes over everything. Okay, I have Micron. Good, 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 good. It's kind of slick. I felt it was very slick. Good. It actually was good there. Interesting that it wasn't, oh, this one was, the golden fluid was very slick, which that makes sense. Good. I'm getting a good line with all of, I would not, oh God, that was a bad idea. Do not use your poor microns on top of the clear gesso. It just wears them down. Oh, there goes the little tip. It's gonna have like no tip left. That happens sometimes with these, especially the 005, which is the thinnest. They just wear down and then they don't work. Regular graphite. Look at that. Look at all the dust that's left right away. Can you guys see that? Look. I have to like blow on it. It just sharpens it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that goes well on everything. Sort of. But definitely better on these two than the SoFlat. Not so good on the gouache, actually. Yeah, kind of slick on some of those, but let me see. Yeah, it went on everything. And then the last two is I have these pastels, but I don't even know if I need to do them both because I already did the pastel pencil. Not good. Interesting. Not good, guys. Look at that. Not good right there. You see that? Barely shows up. Not good. Okay. All right, you know what? Let's try one more new, luminance, because again, like I said, these are the pencils I'll be using. And I watched a video recently. I forgot who made it, but it was super thorough. She's the big YouTuber that did the color cubes, which I have both of them. I bought them. I think she's great. And she did this comparison of all the different colored pencil brands. And she said that her conclusion was that the Luminance was the most light fast out of all of them, even more light fast than Derwent Light Fast. So I was excited to see that because that's what I'll be using for artwork I'd potentially sell. So that was very good news. Beautiful. Not good. Not good. Not good. Pretty good. Again, on some of it, the acrylic gouache does even better than the regular gouache, which I would not expect. And pretty good. Ugh, I hate using it on this because it does there, there, and there. Doing pretty good on that. Really nice. I'm happy to see also that luminance layers so well, because that is what I'm planning on doing, is layering. Okay, so there you have it. Let me hold it up even closer for you guys so you can all see what went down, and you can see. So these are the three main ones I'm comparing, right? You can see that the SoFlat is in third place, but I would say these two are equivalent. I'm not seeing a whole lot of difference. The Utrecht Fluid is doing as well as the Flashe. The SoFlat is in third place. Regular gouache, not that great. To be honest, not that great. Nope. Acrylic gouache, okay, but not that great. And then here's the other ones. Pretty terrible with the professional Amsterdam Professional and the golden fluid, which they're not supposed to be good for layering. They're glossy acrylics. Acrylics are glossy and they're not good for layering. That's why I did all these experiments, to find a way to be able to layer them better. So here's the control. And then here's the results with the three different mediums. The matte medium didn't make much of a difference. I'll just say that right straight out. Matte medium didn't make much of a difference, but it did do a really good job at extending the usefulness of the paint and making it go a long way. The clear gesso did well, and it's a good way to not, because you can see how it changes the color of the paint if you add white gesso, obviously, because you're adding white to it. Whereas the clear gesso does not change the color of the paint. However, it makes it so sandy that I don't want to use my expensive pencils on it, because they would, if you use them for a while on this, it would just wear down super, super quick. So I think the white gesso is the winner. So anytime I'm mixing a paint with white, I could use the gesso, or, you know, whatever. The acrylic ink did well because it just soaked into the paper and I basically have paper texture. But it didn't do as well as paper, I think. I think paper would have done better. What? Okay, this was the polychromos. You can, yeah, so it didn't do as well as paper. You can see that. Here it is on it, and then here it is on paper. It kind of disappeared on top of this surface, but it might be just because of the color, but I don't think so. I think it's also the texture of it. And the Liquitex Heavy Body did horrible, as expected. Okay, so here's the clear gesso I used. That's just the one I already had. It's the Winsor and Newton. And then all the other stuff I have is Liquitex. I have this matte medium, a huge jug of it. And then I have this huge jug of gesso with Liquitex Basics. And I think if I would use this for mixing in with the paint, instead, like this cheap gesso, the Basics version of it, I use for priming canvases, so it doesn't need to be super nice. I just, you know, plop it on and use a ton of it. That's why it's such a big jug. But I would get the nicer professional version of the acrylic gesso, not the Basics one, if I'm mixing it into the paint. And as you can see too, Liquitex has this problem with their lids that they break. This one's completely broken. I just plop it in there to keep it closed. And this one has completely broken off and gotten lost. So I put this plastic in there and just closed it in, and it did close. So it's keeping it sealed. But yeah, I think I'll buy airtight little jugs for like spices or whatever on Amazon. They're pretty cheap, and just maybe put that in there, because right now it's kind of hard to use with, you know, their lid situation. Now I kind of like the lids because Golden and this Winsor and Newton, they have these kind of cans which you know, have the lids that are like wide, which is useful for using, but it is kind of like you have to unscrew them and it's a whole thing. Whereas here it's just a flip lid, which is super convenient and really easy to use. You can just flip it, pour it, but then they break. So, you know, take that into account. Oh, that's the other thing. This one also has the, which is nice. You can unscrew it and then just dip it in there and blah, blah, blah. But I like this better because it's super easy. You just flip it open, pour it. Because here's what I use for my acrylic paint. I use the Stay Wet palette because that just keeps your paints moist for longer and more usable. I poured all these yesterday and they're still, you can see they're still glossy, and you can use, I could use them today. Whereas usually acrylic will just dry out within, I would pour these little tiny things so I wouldn't waste them, and then they would dry out within minutes. So now I can pour bigger amounts because I know I'll have time to use them. So it's more convenient, and, you know, it just keeps them workable longer. So that's why this is more convenient, because I can just pour it in there, whereas this, I would not be doing that because I think a lot more would plop out than I wanted, and then it would just be a whole mess. So I've been just kind of scooping it with a paintbrush and plopping it in there. Just scoop, plop. So what did we learn from all this? We learned that the Flashe and the Utrecht Fluid are best for layering. SoFlat is good too. Regular gouache and acrylic gouache are actually not as good. All the glossy acrylic paint is no good. However, glossy acrylic paint paired with clear gesso or regular gesso are good, or better than on their own. And this way too, you can add to your stash of matte paint, because you can make all your regular acrylics matte and save yourself money. So that's why I'm happy. I'm saving myself a lot of money because this Flashe paint is like $10 for the small container, 10 something on Blick for the small one, and like 14 for the bigger one. And then Plaza Art Materials, if for those of you who do want to buy this, Plaza Art Materials online has the larger containers for 12 something. And if it's your first purchase and you sign up, they'll give you $15 off your order and free shipping over $69. So if whoever wants to buy Flashe paint in US, Plaza Art Materials sells them for the best price. And I was going to buy like a set of like 7 paints to add to my little tubes. And now I've discovered that I don't have to. I can use all my regular acrylics and combine them with the Utrecht Fluid and the SoFlat, because they're also acrylics. So I think I will buy more Utrecht Fluid. I think I might. Not that I need more colors, because like I said, I have a huge collection of regular acrylics. But they're really good quality. The only thing I don't like is that they're so tiny. It's only 1 ounce. So that's, you know, this at least is 2 ounces. So this is expensive. It's like 8 something for like the cheaper ones, and then it goes up from there. And this is 5 something for the cheaper ones. So technically this is actually cheaper, but every time you want to get a color, you have to spend more because it's a bigger container. Whereas here you can get more colors for the same amount of money because they're cheaper and smaller. Anyways, and I'm going to be painting pretty small probably. It's going to be maybe 5 by 7, 7 by 10 at most for those paintings. So I think the smaller ones will be fine. So I hope you guys found this helpful. I know not a lot of you will, because most people didn't even watch the first video about the flat and matte paint. But for those of you looking for this information, I hope this is what you were looking for. So thank you for watching. Again, sorry for the state of my painted hands. Sorry for the lack of editing. It's just the second video I'm uploading because I couldn't just stop where I was with the first video. I had to do more investigating and find more options, because otherwise, based on my last video, the only conclusion I came to was that I had to buy more Flash paint. I even showed the results of the SoFlat, the Flashe, and the acrylic gouache to my family. So my son, my daughter, and my husband, and didn't tell them what was going on, covered the names, and just said, which one does the colored pencil look best on? And they all said Flash paint, and they're not, they don't do art, they don't know anything about art. So for them, with just like a completely naked eye to be able to say pencil looked best on Flash, and then SoFlat was in second place, and acrylic gouache was in third place, which was my conclusion on video. That told me that Flash was definitely better. And I was about to invest a lot of money, and I was like, no, I got to figure this out, because I don't want to invest all that money into something I kind of already have with this huge stash of acrylics I have. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going with SoFlat, supplemented with Utrecht Fluid, because I don't have a lot of them right now, and I might end up getting more. And then it'll be SoFlat, Utrecht Fluid, and I think regular acrylics with white gesso. Whenever I need white, I can just mix that in. Okay, thank you for watching. If you're still with me, then please like and subscribe. And my next video, like I said, I will be showing the project that I'm working on and setting up the wet gouache palette for it. And also, again, if you're still watching, please let me know if the audio quality is better and the lighting quality is better. Okay. Thank you guys.